Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're doing something really fascinating. We're going to follow the money. We're pulling back the curtain to reveal the hidden, highly profitable toll booths that are actually powering the entire AI economy. If you really want to understand this space from a pure investor's perspective, you've got to look past all those flashy tech headlines and zero in on where the structural profits actually sit. So let's get into it.
Section 1. The AI Gold Rush from 1848 to 2026. Let's anchor this whole explainer with a pretty amazing historical parallel. Think back to January 1848, when gold was first discovered. A merchant named Sam Brannan didn't grab a pickaxe and head for the hills to mine for gold himself. No way. Instead, he basically cornered the market on shovels. He let the miners take on all the brutal risk, and he became California's first millionaire. The actual miners, well, for the most part, they went bust. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the exact AI era we're living in right now. Fast forward to 2026, and those highly visible AI models we all talk about, your ChatGPTs, your Claudes, they're the gold. But the real, durable money, the modern-day shovels, those are the GPUs, the data centers, and the electricity contracts. The folks screaming the loudest about the AI opportunity are usually the ones already holding all the shovel inventory.
Okay, so let's dive into this concept. It's known as the toll fallacy. It's essentially the mistake of assuming that the brand you see, the one you're interacting with, holds the structural control. In reality, the flashy AI model companies are currently in a race to the bottom, aggressively cutting prices, while the invisible infrastructure landlords are just sitting back, collecting guaranteed rent. They're the ones possessing the durable cash flow that literally cannot be competed away.
Part 2. Journey of an AI Query. Let's actually follow the money. To expose exactly who gets paid and when, let's trace a single prompt from the exact moment you hit enter. Your seemingly simple text request instantly jumps through 3 physical layers. First, it hits an edge server close to you to keep latency low. Then, an API gateway steps in to authenticate you and properly route your request. And finally, it hits a massive inference cluster to actually execute the compute. And here's the kicker. Every single one of those steps triggers continuous, metered micropayments to cloud providers like AWS or Microsoft Azure. They get paid no matter which AI model you happen to be using. Section 3. The Economics of Tokens, or turning words into math. To really understand the math here, we have to look at how an AI actually processes your text. Because guess that, AI models cannot actually read language. Before a GPU even touches your prompt, it has to go through a tokenizer. This is a piece of software that breaks your sentences down into numbers, or tokens. And these integers dictate the literal, physical amount of compute you're going to consume. More tokens mean more compute, and more compute means more cost. So here's a fun fact. Politeness is absolutely not free. Typing please and thank you into your chatbot, you're actually adding unnecessary tokens to your input. And because polite prompts tend to coax out longer, more elaborate responses from the AI, it multiplies the output tokens too. You are literally, and I mean literally, costing the system more compute money just to be well-mannered. Crazy, right?
Section 4. The GPU toll booth. This is where the meter really runs.
Once your words become numbers, they hit the physical hardware, which creates an inescapable, highly profitable bottleneck. Sitting right beneath those tokens are Nvidia's massive GPUs, and they carry an absolutely astonishing gross margin of over 70%. That massive profit margin is silently embedded into every single layer of the cloud. Every dollar a cloud provider spends on GPU capacity carries Nvidia's margin right inside it. So it's not just a commodity, it's a toll. And here's exactly how that toll gets extracted. The GPU processes your query in 2 distinct phases. First is the pre-fill phase, which reads your prompt almost simultaneously. It's fast and it's pretty cheap. But then comes the decode phase, and this one is sequential. It generates just 1 token at a time. The model literally cannot generate token number 5 until it has completely finished generating token number 4. This is the exact moment where the electricity and compute meters just violently spin, stacking up massive costs. Looking at this breakdown of microtransactions perfectly proves that the physical infrastructure captures almost all the value. GPU compute and memory completely dominate the cost, quickly followed by data center power. And this is exactly why a $20 a month consumer subscription actually operates at a massive loss for the model company when you scale it up. The consumer product, it's really just a distribution strategy. The invisible infrastructure is the actual business. Section 5. The Infrastructure Moat. Meet the hyperscaler landlords. This brings us to the macroeconomics, the massive fortresses protecting these profits. Just look at this incredible contrast. The model companies, like OpenAI, absorb almost all the binary market risk. They're facing wild usage volatility and absolutely massive competitive pressure. Meanwhile, the hyperscalers, think Microsoft Azure, they convert that exact same usage into contractually locked, guaranteed multi-year revenue streams. They are completely inverting the risk profile.
And the barrier to entry to even try and compete with them, it's astronomical. $10 to $14 million. That is the construction cost per single megawatt for a data center, and that's before a single server rack is even plugged in. When you consider a typical hyperscaler's facility needs around 200 megawatts, we are talking about billion-dollar commitments just to get a seat at the table. These data center landlords do not operate like your normal commercial real estate. They don't care about square footage. They basically sell the right to draw electricity, charging per kilowatt. The building itself is essentially just an infrastructure shell wrapped around a 20-year power contract, and all those power costs are passed directly onto the tenants. And the real unshakable moat? It's the years-long waiting list just to connect to the power grid.
This infrastructure dominance is proven perfectly by the open weight threat. Let's say an enterprise customer downloads a free open-source model, like Meta's Llama 3, and completely bypasses OpenAI. The model company's revenue drops to zero, but the data center, it's still drawing power. The hyperscaler still collects its toll for the compute and the memory. They win either way.
Section 6, the ultimate investor strategy, where to actually place your bets. So, putting this all together, where is the smart money actually going? The safest, best risk-adjusted bets avoid these volatile chatbot wars entirely. Model companies are facing binary survive or die outcomes. Honestly, even Nvidia faces some long-term threats from custom silicon down the road. The really smart strategy focuses on the hyperscalers and the landlords who are holding those 15-year leases and utility agreements in constrained markets like Northern Virginia. These assets trade at traditional real estate multiples, but carry massive upside from literally every future AI model that runs on them. While a lot of investors are out there panicking that custom chips will eventually commoditize the hardware, the real tangible bottleneck dictating this entire AI build-out is just geography. It simply comes down to how fast a region, like Northern Virginia or Dublin, can connect a massive new data center to the electrical grid. Which leaves us with a critical thought to close on. If just 3 hyperscalers control the physical grid access and the power queues required to run frontier AI, is all this regulatory drama over which chatbot wins just a massive distraction from the real structural power? The visible toll takers are out there fighting for your attention, but the invisible infrastructure? It's silently, permanently cashing the checks.